I forgot to do a Monday Bible study, so let's do it now on Tuesday. But I did do that whole, I hope y'all saw that part 2 of the um 2 witnesses. Is it the church? I think it is, but I'm not dogmatic about it. It's just my best guesses. It's part 2. And especially when you really start looking at time, the time frames are the toughest. It's the toughest stuff to break down. And anyway, hope you caught it. Hope you find it edifying. I sent it to Vanessa. I said, she liked part 1. So let me know what you think about part 2, kind of thing. She said the studies usually time out perfect as she's traveling, which is super cool. All right, so let's get into Ephesians. Be ye angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath. So, don't go to bed mad, angry. Neither give place to the devil. Let him that stole steal no more, but rather let him labor, working with his hands the things which are good, that he may give unto him that needeth. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. Feed the sheep. That's the job of the sheep with the Great Commission, is so the goats can hear it and hate you and give you tribulation, and the lost sheep or the found sheep can be edified by it. Grieve not the Holy Spirit, whereby ye are sealed unto the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. Remember, vengeance is the Lord's, and that list of sins, those which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom. Galatians 5:19-21. A lot of those are about arguing, fighting, and bickering. And be ye kind to one another. This is sheep talking to sheep, tenderhearted, forgiving one another, even as Christ's sake hath forgiven you. Be ye therefore followers of God as dear children, and walk in love, as Christ also have loved us, and have given him. This is a synthesis of us and the Holy Spirit, us to the church, back through the Holy Spirit, back through the church, among each other. It's just as ebbs and flows of waves of the Holy Spirit coming in us, into other sheep. It's always the Holy Spirit. It's always Christ doing all of the goodness. Walk in love. So notice how this whole thing is, as Christ does with us. So in other words, pass it along, right? And it's the Lord who makes sure we do pass it along, because it's the Lord doing all of it. We have no ability to do anything good at all without the Holy Spirit. And yeah, there's a lot of hippie goats out there in the world that do all these great things, but they're not doing greatness in and of the Lord. It's greatness in and of the world. And have given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to God with a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication and all uncleanness and covetousness, let it not be once named among you, as becometh saints. I think y'all understood that. If you don't, read it in the New Living, like I always usually do anyway. Let there be no more sexual immorality, impurity, or greed among you. Such sins have no place amongst God's people. And we get Daniel. Continue on to Daniel 3, the big statue, right? Wherefore, at the certain time, the Chaldeans came near and accused the Jews, and spake and said to the king Nebuchadnezzar, O king, live forever. Thou, O king, hast made a decree that every man that shall hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, shall fall down and worship the golden image. I just realized my glass sliding door's open, and y'all are getting the sounds of the neighborhood, aren't you? All right. Who falleth down and worship, that should be cast. Those that don't shall be cast into the burning fiery furnace. Don't worship the golden image. There are certain Jews whom among you have set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee, and Daniel hasn't either. But this is very specific. Okay, and you're like, surely Daniel hasn't. How come Daniel hasn't been accused? Well, Daniel's before the king, and maybe the king just sort of ignored it. You know what I'm saying? So, and it was not brought to anybody to call out Daniel. This was a story specific about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage, fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king. Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Now you would think that Nebuchadnezzar would go, what about Daniel? Just didn't come up, did it? This is all the will of the Lord. This is the Lord's script. And we are only actors in the Lord's movie. He has scripted it all. So y'all aren't worshiping the golden image which I've set up? Now, if you be ready that at the time you do hear the cornet, the flute, the harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the image which I have made. Well, but if ye worship not, ye shall be cast in that same hour into the burning fiery furnace. Who is that God shall deliver you out of my hand? All right, we'll get to the rest tomorrow, or we'll get to the next column tomorrow. Love you very much. Ask questions anytime. That's what I'm here for.